Next, we are going to discuss very important concept, Spark Submit Utility. Spark Submit Utility. What is Spark Submit Utility? See, this is our mission, right? It may be Windows, it may be Linux. It may be Windows or it may be Linux. We have our development mission. In this development mission, by using IDE or anything, we return Spark application. We return Spark application. Assume Spark app 1 we developed. Once we developed, what we do, we convert this one into jar format. We convert this application into jar format. Then we have Hadoop cluster. We have a Hadoop cluster. In Hadoop cluster, we have one manager called cluster manager. Cluster manager. This cluster manager in Hadoop 2.x, this cluster manager is yarn. In that yarn, which is cluster manager, resource manager, right? Resource manager. Resource manager is a cluster manager. Cluster manager. Then we have multiple machines in cluster. Multiple machines in cluster. Multiple machines in cluster. So this is our cluster. In this cluster we have data. In this cluster we have data. Okay. Then once we have jar file, we submit this jar file to cluster manager. We submit this jar file to cluster manager by using spark-submit, spark-submit, by using spark-submit command, spark-submit command, we can submit to cluster manager. So here we can submit this jar file to yarn cluster manager, or we can submit this one to standalone cluster manager. Standalone cluster manager. So you can submit this jar file to yarn cluster manager or standalone cluster manager. So cluster manager follows master slave architecture. Master slave architecture. Cluster manager follows cluster managers follows master slave architecture. In yarn cluster, resource manager is master and node manager and application masters are slave missions. But in standalone cluster, Spark master is a master mission. Spark slave, we have Spark master, Spark slaves, Spark master and Spark slaves. Okay, we can take multiple missions in this cluster. We can take a Spark master and Spark slave missions. Spark slave missions to process your application. Okay, so tomorrow class, what we are going to see, first we see what is, how can we, first let's see how can we generate a jar file. Tomorrow class we will see how to generate how to generate, how to submit Spark application to cluster manager. Okay, so today class we'll see so see steps to submit a Spark application jar file. First one, to implement any Spark application, we need IDE, or any editor like Notepad, WordPad, Notepad++, any editor or IDE. Most of the times, development we go for either Eclipse or IntelliJ. In our development, we are going IntelliJ, and we require build tool. It may be Maven, it may be SBT. So our application we are going for SBT. So to write this Spark application, we can use languages like Scala, Python, Java. In our case, we are going Scala. So finally, we generate jar file. After writing this application, finally we generate what? Jar file. Finally, we generate jar file and we submit jar file to standalone cluster or Yarn cluster or Mesos cluster. As part of our course, we are going to see how to submit jar file to standalone cluster, and we are going to see how to submit a jar file to Yarn cluster. Okay, we'll see that one. First application, we are going to, first we develop application. Okay, so I'm writing one simple application, word count application. Okay, so sample application. Then okay, I'm creating one package 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 yep, package name I'm giving com.qt. In this let me remove this one. I don't want this class. I want write one class called new Scala class word count. So class type is object. Okay, then what I'm doing, I'm taking some definition here. So this is my Spark application. Then it is giving error because we did not do any import statements. Let's alt enter. So it's showing error. Alt enter. Alt enter. That's it. Error is gone. In this application, first I am taking two input parameters. Observe. Two input parameter. First parameter is Spark master name. I said in this architecture, standalone cluster or Yarn cluster contain master, right? So we pass master URL here. Argument, command line argument. I am passing master name and application name. And third argument I am passing input file. Fourth argument I am passing output file directory. Input file location and output file location. Once we got input, I am creating RDD. On top of RDD, what I am doing, flat map takes X, right? So you can use X implies X dot split, or you can directly underscore dot split based on space character I am splitting. So I am passing a file which contain words with the spaces. Dot map each word I am adding 1. Finally, I am applying reduce underscore plus underscore means instead of using reduce by key and passing x implies x, first we pass x comma y and we implement aggregation logic, right? I'm writing simple reduce by key underscore plus underscore means x plus y. It implements x plus y. Then finally this result I am going to store into file. So we need how many parameters? One is master name, application name, input file path, output file path. Okay, this is our application. So we return application successfully. Okay, we return our application successfully. Then go to this application location. Where is this application? This one, right? SQL. So first see in target in Spark Fun Scala, we don't have any jar file, right? We don't have any jar file, right? Let's type cmd here. Let's type cmd. Let's type sbt clean. What is this sbt clean means? If already compiled files are available, clean clears that predefined already compiled files. If already any compiled files or any jar files are generated, it removes all those things. Then we use sbt space package. Sbt space package. What it will do, it will generate, it will compile all classes we created in our program, then it generates jar file. Let's see, it is going to generate under target, observe. So under batch 3 workspace Spark SQL, it is creating. So it is created Scala -2.11, right? Under 2.Scala, it is creating something. Let's wait. So it is created Spark SQL underscore 2.11 dot hyphen 0.1 dot jar file. This one, it is created with our application name. Take this jar file and use submit utility, Spark hyphen submit utility. Then submit this one to either standalone cluster or cluster manager. Okay, up to this part, application development part, jar conversion part, we see in today class. Tomorrow class, first we'll discuss how to start a standalone cluster and how to find a master URL. We see this one. Next one, how to start a cluster, then how to see cluster manager URL. How can we pass this manager URL to Spark application? We'll see this one tomorrow class. Okay. So tomorrow is very, very important. Tomorrow we are going to see all these implementation class. If time is available, we'll start Spark streaming introduction tomorrow class. Okay. So that's it for today. If you have any queries, please ask me. Otherwise, we'll stop session.